Hey there, I am recording my video again because my microphone was getting kind of messed up. I'm using the iPod earbuds microphone, so it was getting kind of weird. So I'm going to talk a little bit more softly, and I'm hoping that it's not going to do that thing it was doing, right? Okay, so today I'm making a video about a little optional trick thing in Summoner's War that I do that I find extremely useful. I wouldn't play any other way. So this thing I'm referring to is called, well, it's not, I'll tell you what it's called, but basically the thing I'm referring to is how you organize your island. And I'm going to refer to this as Summoner's War SimCity, or Summoner's War Sim, if you will. So I'm adopting this term and applying it to this game. As you guys know, there was a game called SimCity. It's an older game and they have different versions of it. But basically in SimCity, you would build a city and you'd have all these different buildings in your city and you'd have to lay it out and whatever, right? So there was also a game called StarCraft Brood War, and in Brood War, the term was adopted, I think, by a certain player early on, and this player wrote a guide on Wikipedia, maybe. I think I was just reading it yesterday, and I read the wiki for the term also. So basically, this player discovered that on a certain map, it was very advantageous to wall off certain areas with your buildings. So you would literally use your buildings to build a wall to pretty much turtle it out and kind of get like a late game win. So other people who played Brood War would use the term SimCity or Sim, referring to how a player placed his buildings in Brood War. And placing your buildings in the right place was very important in Brood War for the most part, especially for some races, because the Brood War AI was absolutely terrible. So you would have to place your buildings correctly so your units can move through them and the units don't path a weird way, right? Like you need some of your units together. So I'm adopting that term and using it here because I believe that I technically have good sim in Summoner's War because I have decided to put all of the buildings I ever touch, pretty much ever, on my main island. So I organize my mana buildings and my crystal buildings from fastest production towards the bottom to slowest in the back because I'm pretty sure the button I hit most is the battle button. So that's where I decided to kind of centralize everything. The mana is going to show above the mana building's head at 200 mana. So the fastest production is going to hit 200 first. I may have collected some mana, that's why it looks a little bit weird. So, a couple things to note. Some of these buildings, when you touch them, it doesn't move the camera, so if you collect the mana from the building back in the back, it's not going to move your camera at all, right? You guys have probably noticed this. If you access your storage, it's not going to move your camera. But if we access something like this fusion circle, it's going to move our camera over here. So since I don't use the fusion circle a lot, it can be in the corner, right? Because I'm not accessing that building a lot and my camera's not going to get messed up. So, okay, I guess I can rewind, and the reason I decided to organize my island in this way was because I was getting super tilted having to scroll all the way over here. That's like 2 swipes. That's ridiculous. I don't have time to be doing 2 swipes, 3 swipes, 4 swipes whenever I just want to check on my mana, right? My mana buildings. So that's why everything's here. I also access the magic shop a lot. This one will move your camera, but you can still access all your mana buildings and it's not that big of a deal, right? So the thing that I do most is, I think the most important part is the summoning circle and the power-up circle for me personally. So obviously I haven't done all the math and tracked all of my screen touches, and this doesn't really matter in the long run, I guess, but I just find it more convenient. So when you touch the summoning circle, it's going to snap your camera here. You can still touch all your mana buildings and your crystal buildings. So basically what I do is I summon my unknown scrolls and my social points, and then the camera snaps here. Then I usually power up the monsters because I just like keeping things clean, so I power everything up. And then I find that the camera snaps back to a very, very good position right here. Yeah, so that's basically the main thing, having these two in the middle, having everything in reach. Sometimes these monsters tend to wander around and get in the way, but I don't think it's that big of a deal if you accidentally tap on a monster to tap just a little bit to the side of it to access your building. Like, see how over here we have Kona and Amun in the way? If I accidentally touch Amun, it's not really that hard just to, you know, keep tapping around till I get the building. That's the only downside, I guess, to this sort of setup. I'll show you guys my grid in case you want to copy my island setup. So here's the grid for the main island. Over here, I don't touch these buildings at all. I just kind of organize them in a way that I liked, and I put my arcane towers at the base of the stairs to be kind of decorative. So we have nothing on those other two islands, well, I guess besides the arcane towers. So I think that's about it. Let me pause for a second to see if I missed anything. I think that's about it, but yeah, this is totally optional. If you guys like efficiency like I do it like this. If you like to have your islands all fancy, you can do that too. It's totally up to you. I just think in a lot of video games I've learned that efficiency is important, so I like this method, and that's about it. So get to work on your island sim and improve it. I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.